Adrian, beyond the sectoral calls, what is the biggest sense that you get here on the economy and the market? Because there's a sense of gloom and doom all around being here inside India. That's the feeling one gets, whether you talk to corporates, whether you talk to people in the job market. But when you're looking at investors overseas, what is the sense on the country now?
Well, I think technically India was in a bad position as we went into this sell-off. It is the most consensus overweight market if you look at emerging market fund managers' actual positions. And so I think there's been disappointment in what's happened in the market and clear concern about the weakness that we've seen in the currency. I think there was a degree of capitulation selling occurring towards the end of last week. So I think investors externally have been more optimistic on the market and the economy, and that bet has not paid off in the near term.
Does that mean that this market is at risk to see bigger equity FII outflows, Adrian? Because we haven't really seen that kind of carnage. We've seen that outflow in the bond markets. We've seen a lot of shorting, a lot of selling in index futures, but not so much cash market FII selling. Do you see that as a possibility in the near future?
Well, clearly it's a possibility. Those that own the equity market can always sell it. And I think what the other side of this story is just how pessimistic domestic investors have been. And remember that at the end of every trading session, there was no net buying or net selling. Everything has to match. And what we've seen is a transfer of ownership from local investors, both institutional and retail, to foreign investors. And I think the big issue here is what makes the locals a little bit more optimistic. And I think the burden of proof with the locals is much lower because they are extremely pessimistic on the market and on policy.
Are you at all looking at perhaps altering your view on the market here, or are you still quite comfortable with a positive call?
Well, the market sold off hard. It wouldn't be very human if I was comfortable with a positive view on a market that's declined sharply. So we constantly review all our recommendations, and we constantly review the data that's coming out. But what we don't do is tell people we're about to change our view in the market. The regulators require that we do that in the correct formal way.
I totally get that. What are the next triggers or factors that you're watching out for now, Adrian, as far as India goes?
Well, I think there are three things. There's the rupee, and then the rupee.